Hello and good Saturday evening, everybody. Mr. Panda here with Rockstar, and we're here to talk to you about a movie we just saw called
Shazam! Damn, there was no lightning. What?
I was waiting for the lightning.
Well, so was I.
Shazam! DC's newest attempt to get you interested in their cinematic universe. And it's,
Oh, come on. It was not that bad.
They, I think it's the same group that does Honest Trailers. It's a group called Honest Posters, and there's just this big poster edited from the original Shazam one that says, DC made a good movie! Who would have thought that Aquaman and Shazam would be the good characters in the DC and the DC universe?
I've heard wonderful things about Wonder Woman, so...
Oh, no, I mean, I like
It
Wonder
should
Woman.
be Wonder Woman, Aquaman, and Shazam there.
But Wonder Woman's still a serious character. I think what they were going for there is the whole fact that Aquaman and
Comedic.
Shazam are like, not even just comedic, laid back.
Yeah.
Not color corrected to grays.
Dude, that being said, DC, I feel like psyched you out at the beginning because it starts off all gloomy and stuff, and it starts off with the villain's backstory, and it's super...
Say my name! Waiting for Thaddeus there to be like, Martha!
Then again,
Where's his mom?
I did riff on that when they had that one scene, but we're getting ahead of ourselves here. So, do you want to do the plot? Since I'm always doing the plot, you want to do the plot this time, Panda?
Well, you see, the movie Shazam deals with the origin story of Captain Marvel.
Don't you mean Marvel?
Marvel, whatever.
The man of many names. Go ahead.
Yeah, there's a reason why they decided to drop that. Just like Marvel decided to drop the Olympians. Anyway, besides that, Shazam is all about the wizards and their attempt to keep trapped the 7 deadly sins. And unfortunately, there's only one wizard left, and he's very grizzled, very grumpy, and is not very good with kids.
And his magic's weak.
His magic's
That's
weakening.
the more important part.
And so, my favorite part about the whole thing is that he's seeking for someone pure of heart. And then we get introduced to the villain right off the bat, and he's not pure of heart. And then they give the power to the kid, and he's like, you're literally my last bet here. I didn't even bother to check if you're pure of heart. Okay, well that kind of defeats the whole purpose.
He didn't have the method or the means of actually... checking if this kid was pure of heart.
I mean, he might as well just give it to Thaddeus.
I mean, at that point, he actually tested him.
But it turns out our young friend Billy really is a good kid. Or something. I don't
Even
really
if
know.
He's a little mischievous.
I don't know what the moral of the story was really supposed to be there, but that's cool. I actually really enjoyed this movie. It's got a lot of the...
You don't know what the moral of the story was?
The moral of the story is that your parents don't want you.
Oh, no. You know what? Oh, my God. Maybe we should get to spoilers because you're getting too close to...
We're not spoiling anything.
I wanted to spoil something since you brought that up.
We're not spoiling anything right now. This is going to be nice, straightforward, to the point. There's all sorts of fun things going on in this movie. What do you like most?
Oh, what do I like most? It's very light and airy and fun. You actually get to enjoy yourself with the character. It doesn't feel like dragged down in, I need to be solemn and I am all powerful. The kid doesn't know what to do with his powers. And he has to actually refer to his friend who references Batman and Superman the entire time on how to do you have flight? Can you leap tall buildings in a single bound?
Almost. Almost. Yeah, I like the whole warm-up phase where they're trying to test out his powers. Like, that actually feels real. It's like, oh, I'm a superhero. It's like, every other time they do something like that.
It's like they already instinctually know.
Well, no, it's like, even with Superman, like, I feel like it was just like, there was certainly nothing fun about it.
Well, no, they made that super ultra dramatic. Like, oh my God, I'm dealing with my X-ray vision. I can't handle it. I'm a child. Whereas I feel like some kid would actually have fun with X-ray vision. This is like the complete opposite of Superman. in this sense.
Yeah, and I mean, like, it definitely feels like they learned something from playing it a little lighter, to put it mildly, if nothing else. And I mean, like, you can see that DC has already kind of, like, started warming up to it. They've moved away from being dark all the time, because, I mean, like, Aquaman definitely had a lot of highlights. There were still parts that were like, oh, super dramatic and serious and like trident beatdowns and all that. But like they started learning to play with characters more once Aquaman came onto the scene. And I think that Shazam just put it all into a whole new basket, which was really cool. I mean, there are still scenes that play with dark. You know, you have the wizard, the opening scene with the wizard. You have the 7 deadly sin guys, which are like super creepy.
It's super creepy. There's even, I won't spoil it too much, but there is a little bit of gore even, like, for a PG-13 movie. They play with that line a little bit too much for me.
Savannah Industries. Ultimate soundproofing. For when you need a quiet night away from the family.
Oh,
You'll find that hilarious in about an hour and a half. Maybe even sooner. I forget. Maybe an hour in.
What I will say about DC's gritty and dark, because the thing is, I do like when they go gritty in some superhero senses. But,
definitely.
But DC never learned balance. Every single movie they've done so far has been all gritty and maybe splatter 1 or 2 jokes in there. Whereas I think they're starting to be able to play with both ends of the spectrum a lot better. But Shazam feels like it almost feels more Marvel-ish. If it almost reaches that border of like crossing like Thor Ragnarok, almost, I feel.
The movie's goofy. Honestly.
Yeah, the movie's so goofy.
And it really is a huge tonal shift for DC because, like I said, even with Aquaman, like there was still that sense of like dramatic impending doom. But there's never really a point where like Shazam almost feels like a kids movie. And I think that's intentional. It's that that almost, you know what it reminds me of? It's like you ever see The Amazing Panda Adventure from like back in the 90s? It feels like that movie. I'm not saying that they're No, I'm not saying they're similar in plot. I'm not saying they're similar in how they execute things. But the way you feel about the movie, it's like, oh yeah, the kids having an adventure. There's a sense of danger, but there's never like you never expect the world to end.
Grandpa, I think the reference is Big by Tom Hanks.
Big is older than The Amazing Panda Adventure. Don't you go calling me Grandpa! Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Big.
I didn't remember what decade my movie was in.
But more people will remember Big. And that's what it sort of has that tone, except with
Zoltan! Zoltan is even a wizard! Oh my god. Shazam is just... He turns them all! Roxy, you've had this beautiful insight into the underlying plot of Shazam. This is the sequel to Big that I've always wanted.
And let me just say, Zachary Levi, the one who actually plays Shazam, not the old wizard, the actual Shazam character.
Oh, who plays the old wizard again, Roxy?
You're gonna make fun of me because I can't say the guy's name.
Say it.
I really like...
Say it.
Digimon.
Digimon Honso?
That is not how you say it. I know that's not how you say it. You're just being mean.
Digimon playing the wizard Shazam.
As I was saying about Zachary Levi, before you rudely interrupted me, he makes you believe he is Billy Batson, a 15-year-old boy. Like, I think there wasn't a part where his acting took me out of it. He's very believable as Billy Batson. You almost forget that this is a completely different person playing him. Like, you forget that this man is not a 15-year-old kid in actuality. I felt like he really sucked me into, he is Billy Batson as a young kid. And I think, no, that's spoiler. We'll get to that.
I don't know if we're talking spoilers or not. I don't want to.
No.
So far, we're going good.
I was going to say something and then I stopped myself. So.
Greatest midair fight villain monologue of all time. That's not a spoiler. You expected it. You expect the villain to have a very dramatic showdown with the hero. That's just going to be a thing. Greatest monologue from a villain in cinematic history. You'll know exactly what I'm talking about.
Well, that being said, in a general terms, one of the other things I like about the film is, I won't say exactly what tropes it subverts, but I feel it subverts a lot of superhero tropes that we've been seeing lately.
For example?
I can't. They're spoilers, dude.
Oh, okay. Okay, yeah, I see what you mean.
They're spoilers. I literally... But there's a lot... Like, okay... Non-spoiler, what you just said is one of the tropes it subverts.
True.
It also, I feel it subverts a little bit of, like, the superhero origin. Like, yeah, like Thor, you're supposed to be worthy of the hammer. Or anybody else, you're pure of heart, this and that. No, he literally gets it because he's the last person to get to the wizard. And he's the only one the wizard can pass it on to.
Yeah, that's a good point. There's also, I feel like in terms of like developing his powers and stuff, you don't normally see, well, I think we already covered that. It's like wrangling with your powers as opposed to like boyish discovery. I
think there was only one movie that did that. And it's a found footage superhero movie that a lot of people don't see, and it's a horror movie.
I know what you're talking about. It's the one that's loosely based off of Akira.
Yeah. And
starts with a C. I don't remember what it's called either.
The best part is I just wrote it down in my long list of what movies to watch. And I can't remember the name of it, but I know there's that one superhero movie that plays with that concept of finding out what your superhero powers are.
Now, you said that there was at least one thing that bothered you during the movie.
That they're using old villains. Like, really old... Like, I get why they didn't do Black Adam. That's who I expected. That's who I wanted as the villain. But they used really old villains that you have to really... Like, it's not even modern Billy Batson anymore. This is going back to his origins in the comics. All the way back when he was actually Captain Marvel.
Well, on that subject, did you go in expecting Black Adam? Even after the previews? Because I'm just curious. Like, no. I didn't get the impression that guy was Black Adam. And I mean, in fairness, I don't know much about the comics, I'll be honest. But, like...
No, because it was an announcement from DC that they weren't going to use Black Adam because they want him to have his own movie. And the thing about...
Which makes sense, because, like, he's referenced in the movie. But it's I feel like it's a good thing they didn't use him in the origin story, because then it's like... Isn't that like Captain Marvel's most important nemesis thingamajigger? I don't know.
Yes, he is the most important one. And they changed. I will say one thing about the villain. I did eventually like him, but DC really liked their close-ups. It was like every time he was on screen, off came the sunglasses. Every time, man. Oh, and I don't know. I felt like he was kind of generic as a villain. I didn't feel like there was nothing completely special to him except for one thing.
I just realized he didn't even really have like a plot. Like, well, no. like a personal like plan to like, I want to take over the world. I mean, at least that's like classical. But like now you mention it. Like, there was literally no stated purpose other than, screw you, wizard, I'm taking it anyway.
Power. Yeah, no, that's literally... He held a childhood grudge for years, not just against the wizard, but against his family, against everybody. My favorite part is them walking into that boardroom, and it's like, remember that night in the car? It's like, dude, you're 40!
He could be a Yu-Gi-Oh villain. Just comes in... Ha! Now I have obtained the power I've sought since I was a child. Well, what are you going to do now? What? What are you going to do now that you've obtained the ultimate power of the wizards? I don't understand the question.
I've already accomplished my goal.
I guess I'm going to Disneyland. They can't keep me out now. Stupid restraining order.
And then they teased another villain.
He can visit the Vatican.
They teased another villain.
That's
Eventually.
true.
But I don't understand what DC's trying to do, because they're like, yeah, we're totally like retconning, because they no longer have Henry Cavill or Ben Affleck. So are they rebooting?
Well, that's because Henry Cavill's
from
face
here?
is clearly too expensive, as you pointed out. Henry Cavill's face is too expensive for DC to use anymore.
Oh.
Just so you know.
No, they're no longer a part of the DCEU.
I know. It would be too expensive.
So should we get to spoilers, since we're kind of
I don't want to talk about spoilers. We've successfully reviewed this film, talked about how excited we are. There are surprises in this film that we won't talk about. But
I'm really excited about some of the subverted tropes. I want to talk about them.
Look how far we came, and we can just tell them to see it for themselves.
That's true.
Okay, well, let's put it this way. It subverts the idea that superheroes have to do things on their own. And I mean, like, you could say that Deadpool kind of played with that a little bit. In fact,
I mean, the Avengers plays on that too, but
Shazam plays off of a lot of things that Deadpool has kind of tread. Mm-hmm. And that's good. I mean, like, you can say, oh, it's ripping off. Well, I mean, DC is learning.
Let me help you with that point.
Go ahead.
It subverts the trope that superheroes don't need help from non-powered people.
That's true.
Like, he has help, but from non-powered people the entire time.
Oh, yeah. Deadpool didn't manage to do that because they all died.
Yeah. Yeah, they died.
Except the cab driver. He did something.
That's true. But, they didn't, like, it's a kid. On top of it, it's a non-powered person. It's a kid. It's another child who you wouldn't really consider as an adult in the world. Like, the closest they come is the college student foster sister that helps them.
True, yeah.
So, no adults really help the kids work out, here comes a supervillain, what are you going to do? Let's throw books at him. Like...
Get him, Batman!
I can see this being something that kids can go watch and have their own Spider-Man moment, but for the DCEU.
Yeah,
finally.
And I mean, like I said before, I guess we're in complete agreement. Honestly, Shazam feels like the first superhero movie that was specifically geared to be for a younger audience, and that feels weird, especially coming from DC.
Yeah, especially coming from DC.
DC that never wants to hit that R rating, but totally wants to hit that R rating. And like Marvel, who always keeps things light because it's Disney focused, but now here comes Shazam.
The one thing too is one of the other things that I really, really liked about this movie is the foster family.
Yeah.
It's very well known that Billy Batson is a foster kid, but like the way they frame the family, it's a very multicultural family. And I know the parents aren't really, they don't really play that big of a part, but every time they were on screen, it was really nice because the dad wasn't the stereotypical dad.
He was just cringy.
Stereotypical mom. Yeah, it felt very real and very, I don't know, like...
Stop trying to be the cool dad.
Oh, it was so nice, though.
I didn't say it was unrealistic. I just said stop. If anything, that should reinforce the fact that it was realistic. Stop, Dad!
Yeah, no, and I felt that Dad was even really in touch with his feelings, too, which also doesn't really happen in superhero movies anymore. The men were all really in touch with their feelings.
Except for Pedro. He doesn't talk much. We don't know what's going on there.
That was part of his character.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I can't think of anything else. Unless you have something.
I only have spoilers at this point.
Well, we're going to somehow manage to get through a whole review without spoilers. This time. So, we are officially now, when this video goes live, 3 days into Shazam's release. It's up to at least $50 million so far.
Yeah, 50 million.
Doing good. Maybe, I mean, I don't, man. DC, you're really not that great at making money.
Hey,
Good luck, because...
It restored my faith in that they can actually write a good superhero.
Yeah, and I mean, like, I don't dislike Dark, and Shazam...
I don't either.
Shazam is not my favorite DC movie, but this is a really important turn, and represents really great shift for a number of different reasons, and maybe they can even manage to knit it into what they're trying to do elsewhere. Though who the heck knows?
Really hope so, because there's very few DCEU things I can watch, and let's not even go into their TV shows, because I can't even get myself to stomach those.
So, DC beat Marvel to headliner female movie.
Yes.
Is DC going to beat Marvel to getting their weird offbeat fourth wall character into their series? Because in case you didn't know, Disney now owns Fox. Deadpool could totally show up at any moment.
Well, they are talking about shifting and like bringing in new mutants. They want to kill off all the mutants so far. Bring in the new mutants.
Deadpool's not even in the X-Men.
He has.
All I'm saying is Deadpool could do a after credits cameo. That's all I'm saying.
With
They don't
Spider-Man.
have to put him in the movie.
With Spider-Man.
Yeah, that would be cool. 2 Spider-Men on screen. Anything else to say?
Really? I think we should just say whether or not they should go watch it. And I say go watch it.
Go watch it.
Really?
It's not even that expensive.
So good.
Go watch it on the matinee.
It is so good. Like, even if you're weary and you're tired of DC's crap, trust me, as somebody who was tired of DC's crap, this was really good. It was an enjoyable movie. At least you'll enjoy yourself for a little while and laugh. Minimum.
I think that's really all we have to say. Quick note, in case you didn't notice, we're going a little bit more low tech, although I think the video quality right now might be a little bit better than normal.
Yes.
Like we said before, we're in a transition period, so you might see as many as 3 videos a week. Something more like this. So, stay tuned, and more changes will be in store in the coming weeks and months. We got KogaraCon in New Jersey, which we'll talk more about in the next video. But that's all we have for now. So, Shazam!